Yellowstone fans must watch best Western series ever as Hunger Games Heartthrob stars. The Hunger Games star looks totally unrecognizable in the historical romance epic. An epic adventure series with a Western setting that will delight Yellowstone fans and enough romance to intrigue Outlander devotees is now available on MGM+. The drama, which comes from the mind of Vikings creator Michael Hirst, takes place in the 19th century American Old West. Taking on the lead role, Hunger Games heartthrob Tom Blyth looks unrecognizable in a part that is worlds away from his portrayal of blonde-haired Coriolanus Snow in prequel film The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The series, entitled Billy the Kid, sees Tom play outlaw as he becomes a gunslinger in the American frontier. Other cast members include Brooklyn star Eileen O'Higgins, who plays Kathleen McCarty, the Dirt's Daniel Weber as Jess Evans, and the Cuts Alex Rowe as Sheriff Pat Garrett. Today, both seasons 1 and 2 of Billy the Kid are debuting on Amazon MGM Studios, subsidiary MGM, Plus after first airing on Epix before the network was rebranded. In Season 2, the epic romantic adventure inspired by the life of America's most infamous outlaw continues, as Billy and his allies square off against his oldest friend Jess Evans and the corrupt powers of the Santa Fe Ring. MGM Plus has also provided a synopsis for Season 1 for those wanting to catch up on the show. It reads, written by Vikings and the Tudors creator Michael Hirst, Billy the Kid is an epic romantic adventure based on the life of famous American outlaw Billy the Kid, Tom Blyth, also known as William H. Bonney. From his humble Irish roots to his early days as a cowboy and gunslinger in the American frontier, to his pivotal role in the Lincoln County War and beyond. Weber will play Jess Evans, another famous outlaw and leader of the Seven Rivers Gang. When they meet, Jess has already embraced a life of crime, robbing stores and cattle rustling. Billy is attracted to his wild and reckless character and becomes Billy's doppelganger of sorts, his shadow self, forever inviting him over to the dark side of life. Meanwhile, the Season 2 description continues. Billy gets caught in the middle of the Lincoln County War, a murderous conflict driven by money, greed, and corruption. After enjoying a monopoly, Murphy's store is no longer the only player in town when Englishman John Tunstall moves to Lincoln and sets off a commercial rivalry. Law and order is no match for cowboy gangs and a secret society. Wild chases and shootouts abound. There are innumerable ambushes and killings. No one is safe. After a pivotal assassination, things get very ugly, leaving Billy the Kid with an uncertain fate. Will he make it out of the Lincoln County War alive? Billy the Kid has totally split critics on Rotten Tomatoes, earning a score of 50%, while it has fared much better among viewers, who gave the first season 83%. One fan wrote, "Absolutely loved this refreshing take on Billy the Kid. Great actors and storyline." A second raved, "This is up there with the best. The acting, storyline, cinematography, and scenery are all just amazing. Hope they make a Season 3. While a third enthused, "This is one of the best Western dev shows ever. I can't not recommend this enough, my friends who all love it. Yeehaw." However, one complained, "Painfully slow. I thought it would be exciting given the subject matter, but just lots of meaningful staring and pauses. Strong acting." Another person was also not impressed, adding, "It may have been easier to watch if it did not deviate so much from the historical record." Nevertheless, the reaction from viewers was mostly positive, with one more commenting, "Amazing Western. Loved every minute of it. Great action and storyline." If you're still mourning the temporary end of Yellowstone and craving that mix of rugged Americana, gritty justice, and untamed frontier spirit, saddle up. Because there's a new Western series that's being called the best Western series ever. And if that wasn't enough to grab your attention, here's the kicker. It stars none other than the Hunger Games heartthrob himself. And he's never been more intense, more brooding, or more battle-scarred by the West. We're talking about Outlaw's Reckoning, the breakout Western drama that has quietly stormed its way into streaming queues and critics' hearts alike. From the dusty landscapes to the whiskey-soaked saloons, this show is everything Yellowstone fans didn't know they needed, and maybe even a little more. Enter the heartthrob in the saddle. Remember the fierce, smoldering tribute from the Hunger Games who turned heads in District 2. Now picture him with sun-creased eyes, a revolver strapped to his hip, and a secret darker than a moonless prairie night. That's right, Alexander Ludwig, known for his role as Cato in the Hunger Games, trades the arena for the open frontier in this gritty new Western. As Clay Maddox, a former Confederate scout turned reluctant outlaw, Ludwig delivers the performance of his career. A slow-burning, emotional, and physically demanding portrayal that's already earning him Emmy whispers. Clay's past is a haunting one, and his journey toward redemption is filled with betrayal, old vendettas, and violent reckonings. He's not a good man. Not yet. But like Yellowstone's John Dutton, he'll do anything to protect what he believes is right, even if it means leaving a trail of enemies in the dust. Yellowstone meets Deadwood. With a dash of Django, fans of Yellowstone will feel right at home. And maybe even on edge, with the way Outlaw's Reckoning plays out. There's family drama, land feuds, crooked sheriffs, and enough frontier justice to make Rip Wheeler tip his hat. But there's more grit here, more blood, more shadows. The show leans into the darkness of the era, the post-Civil War chaos where loyalties are fluid and justice is meted out with lead and fists. But there's poetry too, sweeping cinematography of the American West, dialogue that sings like a campfire ballad, and characters so rich you can smell the sweat and gunpowder on them. You'll see echoes of Deadwood in the language and grime, shades of Django Unchained in its unflinching violence and racial themes, and the brutal beauty of the Revenant in every frame. Yet Outlaw's Reckoning still manages to carve out its own voice, raw, restless, and resolute. A cast that brings the heat. Ludwig may be the headliner, but the supporting cast rounds out this dusty drama with absolute firepower. A newly reinvented Neve Campbell stuns as Loretta Gray, a saloon matriarch with a ledger full of secrets and a pistol under her corset. Jeffrey Dean Morgan makes an unforgettable turn as Marshall Dake Rollins, a lawman more interested in legacy than law. And newcomer Raylan Bishop absolutely steals scenes as Clay's estranged younger sister, Clementine, who's as good with a shotgun as she is with a hymn. These aren't just stock characters in Stetsons. They're people worn down by the West, each trying to write their own ending in a land that rarely allows second chances. Themes that hit like a bucking bronco. At its core, Outlaw's Reckoning is about identity, legacy, and the scars of history. Just like Yellowstone pulled viewers into conversations about land, bloodlines, and generational power, this new series digs deep into the idea of who gets to shape America's story. Clay Maddox walks the line between villain and hero, and the show never gives you an easy answer. Just when you think he's about to find peace, the past grabs him by the throat. And isn't that the very spirit of the West? A place where peace is fleeting and survival often comes at a moral cost. There are cattle rustlers, ambushes, and border wars, yes, but there are also moments of quiet beauty, of men and women grappling with the ghosts of war, of families torn apart by loyalty and greed. It's Yellowstone's emotional punch mixed with the brutality of a Sergio Leone gunfight. The buzz is real. Critics have already begun whispering that Outlaw's Reckoning could be the series that finally takes the Western genre into new territory, bold enough to honor tradition, but modern enough to challenge it. Rotten Tomatoes has it hovering in the 90s, and social media is ablaze with comparisons to 1883, Hell on Wheels, and even Peaky Blinders with horses. And the best part, the storytelling is just getting started. Season 2 is already in production, with promises of deeper lore, a new railroad thread, and Clay's past finally catching up with him in the form of an old comrade turned nemesis.